So today we're taking a look at Gladiator. Gladiator is one of my favorite heroes in For Honor. Better yet, my favorite assassin in For Honor. Gladiator's labeled as a stamina preserver and mix-up intensive, and his moves definitely display that. In this video, I'm going to break down Gladiator, everything you need to know of course, and some of the abilities that he has in 4v4 game modes like his feats. This video is one part of a larger series that I'm making on this game. There will be a guide on every hero on this channel, so if you want to check out more guides or be updated for future guides, make sure you hit the subscribe button. With all that being said, let's get started with the video. Alright, so I'm going to keep things simple. Just like every other character, we're going to start with the light attacks. So with Gladiator's light attacks, you can chain up to 4 light attacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. With his heavy, you can chain up 2. But something that Gladiator has that's really helpful is his unblockables. And Gladiator has a lot of unblockables. I'm going to break down the first one. So I'm going to throw a heavy attack and another heavy attack. And as you can see, it gets some bleed in. So I'm not going to swing the second heavy attack in any direction. I'm just going to keep the analog stick still and let the unblockable happen. But if you throw the second one and stay still, you'll get a stick. Now this stick is really important because you can use this to apply pressure. As you can see, you can do it after a light attack, or you can let it go through, and you actually can press X and throw people into a wall to get more damage in. The reason why this combo is so important with Gladiator is because if I get a stick, throw somebody against the wall, I can get another attack in, get another stick maybe, or not go through with it and just get a guard break in. So I can stick, throw against the wall, try to get a stick again, cancel, and maybe throw into the guard break and start it all over again. That's why this combo is really essential for Gladiator, because you can do a lot of damage with it. Going into some of the other unblockables that Gladiator has, you just want to press down on the left analog stick and X. This is really nice because it will stop your enemies right in his tracks and do a little bit of stamina damage. Also, if your opponent is out of stamina, you'll actually throw him to the ground, which is really nice. This is also the case if you land an unblockable bleed. He'll land on the ground. Anytime you throw him in this way, if he's out of stamina, he's going to fall to the ground. Next, we're going to take a look at another unblockable, which is his zone attack. I'm going to do this by pressing the heavy attack and the light attack button at the same time. As you can see, we've done 14 damage. You can actually cancel this in the middle of it. So I can get the bash in, cancel, maybe get a guard break in, because a heavy does more damage than, finishing out that zone. So you can add that in your mix-up as well. If you dodge in any direction and press X, you have to punch. This has good dodge capabilities, and it really allows you to keep pressure on your opponent, because every time you get a punch in, you're going to be doing some stamina damage. So when it comes to unlocked abilities, Gladiator has a pretty interesting move. So I'm going to start sprinting, and I'm going to press the heavy attack, X, and as you can see, you can kind of fake people out with this ability. And with Gladiator being an assassin, this means he has some deflect abilities. So I'm going to deflect. After deflect, I press the heavy attack button, and as you can see, it'll perform some bleed. And you can also get a throw off of this. So I'm going to let him get close, deflect, throw him into the wall. You can actually get another heavy in and start up the unblockable chain if you want. You can do this as much as you want. Gladiator can also get a punch in after a parry. So I'm going to press the parry attack. I do this by pressing RT as soon as he attacks, and then press X right after. Now we're going to take a look at Gladiator's max punish. If you have an opponent that is out of stamina, you can actually throw him to the ground, get a light attack in, and then get a heavy attack in. This will allow you to get up to 42 damage, which is the max amount of damage you can get with Gladiator. And if you use a toe stab, you can also knock people to the ground. But one of the best things to do when people are out of stamina is hit them with a toe stab, throw them to the ground, and you can get more damage in. But as you can see, as soon as he hit the ground, I started up my unblockable chain. This will allow me to put pressure and start up a whole nother combo. So we're going to start with a toe stab, throw him to the ground, get the heavy in, unblockable, and you have the option right there to go through with it or not. And you just want to work that in with some more combos. So with all that taken care of, we're going to take a look at some of Gladiator's feats for 4v4 game mode. So keeping in mind that Gladiator is an assassin hero, he's going to have some feats to accommodate that. So starting with tier 1, we have Iron Lungs. It's a passive. You can still sprint while out of stamina. If you're out of stamina, you can't run away quick enough, period. Next, we have Bounty Hunter. It's a passive, gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. One of the more essential feats that I like to put on. And next, we have Deadly. It's a passive, attacks deal slightly more damage every 3 seconds. If you like like to use this. Honestly, it's pretty good to throw on, but if it was up to me, it's either between Deadly and Bounty Hunter. These two feats are probably the best for tier 1. Next for tier 2, we have the Righteous Deflection. It's a passive, parry to gain high damage reduction for a short time when you get a parry in. Next we have Righteous Deflection. It's a passive, parry to gain high damage reduction for a short time. With Gladiator having some abilities that are based off of him parrying, this is a good ability to have. And on the other hand, with him being an assassin, high damage reduction would be pretty good for this classic character. Next we have Haymaker. It's a passive, punches, kicks, and throws deal damage. Next we have Haymaker. It's a passive, punches, kicks, and throws now deal damage. Similar to the Centurion, Gladiator has a lot of unblockables he can throw out. Punches, shield bashes, things like that. That'll all now do damage, which is obviously good for this hero. Next we have Executioner's Respite. It's a passive. When executing an enemy hero, gain an extra amount of health based on the execution's duration. Once again, with him being an assassin, it's always good to get a lot of health from your executions. Next for the tier 3, we have the Pugno Mortis. Throw an explosive that deals moderate damage in an area. Next for tier 3, we have the Neptune's Wrath. Throw a trident for moderate damage. Somebody's running away from you, or if you want to start off the fight with the opponent having about half health, this is a good thing to use. Next we have the Boladoras. Projectile that deals low damage and traps the enemy for a short time. This is basically a trap that you can throw so you can start up a combo on somebody with a little bit of bleed damage on top, which is really nice. Next up for tier 4, we have Fear itself. Nearby enemies have lower defenses. So you use this ability on something like Breach when you're near the commander, or simply when you just have a lot of people around. When their defenses are lower, you do a lot more damage. And this is applied to anybody that's around you. This is one of the better feats for Gladiator. Next we have the Catapult. If you watched my guides before, you know that the Catapult is basically just a grenade, but it takes a little longer to develop and it has a lot more range. But if it lands on you, it's going to be an insta kill. Next we have Roar of the Crowd. Greatly raise attack and sprint stats. This stat boost for Gladiator is really great. This basically just allows you to do a lot more damage and move a lot quicker. Now is this better than Fear itself? I don't know. That's for you to decide. They're both really good feats, but one thing about Fear itself is it will benefit your teammates as well. This one doesn't, so that's why I'd probably put Fear itself at the top. So that's going to be it for the video. If you enjoyed this guide and got anything from it, let me know. Let me know by hitting that like button. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments below. With all that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.